Hi everyone. Welcome back to PARQUET, episode 9. So we learned some more information about Rino and why Tsubasa is sharing the body with her. So pretty much Rino sold her body to make money. So she means that she applied to be a test subject for some experiment, and that experiment involves memory grafting. So they grafted Tsubasa from her sickly body into Rino, and even though it means that Rino loses some of her freedom, so she can only exist at night, she does appreciate the company that it brings, so having someone with her. So this is before she finds Kanato, and Kanato begging, Tsubasa for a place to stay. So Rino and Tsubasa both have some feelings for each other, but they can't see each other. So Tsubasa is completely different from Rino, and the only way of communication is via BMI. So anyways, I wonder what's next. Okay, so it's the next day, and a clicking noise preludes a door opening. And seeing Mother come back makes my chest feel heavy. And she throws me a cold glare, and I move to a corner of the room. So do you behave? She asks, but I know why she's asking. So it's not a concern, it's a threat, and she'll spare me no mercy if I cause any trouble for her. And I just nod along, not saying anything. And she clicks her tongue and complains about me being ungrateful. And even though she told me to shut up and hit me if I did say anything. And that's why I decided to become a puppet. So, also from episode 8, Rino mentioned that her parents died early, and she lived with her grandmother before her grandmother too passed. So now Rino is living alone. And it hurts to be beaten. If I cry out and say it hurts, I'll be kicked. And nobody likes pain. So I wonder which person this is for. But not everyone becomes a puppet, because they don't usually get hit or kicked. However, I do. And should I feel sorry for myself? And I ponder for a moment, but quickly stop. And puppets don't think. Okay, so going to the law enforcement. So they're investigating the Dream Dive Club. The fact that they're abusing technology.
Hi.
Okay, so now they go in person to see what it's like. Okay, so I think they have enough evidence to crack down on this illicit hostess or hostile club. Oh shit, the cops are here. Okay, so time to make arrests.
困りますよ。いきなりそんな。
心配するな、ちゃんと令状もある。
Sorry, so we have a warrant.
じゃなくて、うちが何をしたって言うんですか。
Well, at this point, it's too late, so the middle-aged waiter can only try to convince the judge.
またぼったくりなんて訴えですか。だからうちは料金を明記してます。
Well, at this point, all of that is for the judge.
初めてのお客にはちゃんと口頭でも説明してますって。
残念ながら今回の容疑は暴行だ。
Sorry, so we have other charges.
ああ、それこそ見当違いだ。暴力を振るったことなんて一度もない。
だが客の意思に反して酒を飲ませているような。ベロベロになって酔いつぶれるくらい。
いや、何言ってんですか。
Okay, denial is one.
こっちも調べて踏み込んでる。
So denial is one sign that it's happening.
なんならこの場で確認するか。BMI を外した客と一緒にテーブルのドリンクを。
それは。
Okay, so let's confiscate the BMIs and see what they say.
とりあえず話は署で聞かせてもらおうか。
So I'm sure the middle-aged waiter is going to be the first arrest.
あれ？何の騒ぎかな？あのビルって、またドリームダイブのお客がやらかしたのか。でもそれにしては雰囲気が変だな。いつもの酔っ払いとは違うのかな。
Okay, so it looks like the Dream Dive Club got raided, and I'm pretty sure the middle-aged waiter got arrested as part of the sting. So anyways, going to Rino and Aya. So roses sell well.
イメージ通りじゃない。主力商品だと思う。
Yes.
プレゼントが目的のお客さんが多いと特に喜ばれる花だと思われる定番だし。
Most people, you say. So it isn't actually the case.
あくまで人による。ただバラの花束なんてギャグみたいで弾く人もいるだろうし、重度の花粉症の人だと逆に困るだろうし。
So pollen allergy. That does sound bad.
花瓶を持ってない人も少なくないだろうし、持って帰っても邪魔って人もいると思う。バラの花束に限らず、プレゼントにはタイミングとか下調べが重要なんじゃない？
So present giving sounds complicated. And it takes time to prepare an order, so we want the person receiving it to be happy. And it's been a few days since I started working part-time at the flower shop, and I've learned so many new things. And first of all, how to deal with rose thorns. So that's a big one. And you leave some leaves to prevent the evaporation of water and then remove them after. And then comes preserving them. You need to cut the stem at a slanted angle and then soak it in water for several hours and then cut the stem again before using it for decoration. And the tasks themselves are not particularly difficult. And they're not brainless either, so they require a little bit of skill. And identifying what you need to do for each one and doing it actually is minute work, so not much.
大変大変。お疲れ様です。
Welcome back. So what's wrong?
ただいま。大変だよ。警察が動いた。
So the police is here. Oh, so is this store doing anything illegal?
さあ、あくどいことやってるほど儲けてるようには見えないけど。
So, I'm just the small peanut in this company, so I don't know any of the details.
失敬なこと言ってると時給減らすよ。
Hey, so don't give me that attitude. So, it's gonna hurt all of us.
うちじゃなくてドリームダイブ。あそこに警察が入ったの。
So, it's not us, it's Dream Dive.
ああ、芸能人に見えるキャバクラですか。
そうそう。警察が入ったってことは、やっぱり何かやってたんだろうね。
Well, I don't think I should care about Dream Dive. That's a different place. And if Dream Dive goes under, they can always find other customers to serve.
絶対おかしかったもん、あの店。
Whoa, so that was fast. Perhaps a little too fast. And it's only been a few days since I testified to them. And I thought they'd spend more time gathering solid evidence. Well, I'm sure around that time they already have enough evidence and they just need more to confirm their suspicions. And with Kanato being the cherry on top, they were able to obtain warrants to search the place and conduct the raid. So maybe this is something bigger than them just ripping people off. So there must be more problems. And maybe they've had their eyes on them for longer than I thought. There you go.
あと、お客だ。
Oh,
いらっしゃい
customer.
ませ。
And they must have their reasons. But I didn't expect the police to move so quickly. And if I had started snooping around that place, I might have been put on a police watch list. So they might just apprehended everyone who was there. But I'm sure for Kanato, after some questioning, they'll let him go. So hindsight is 2020, but looks like keeping my distance was the right choice. So not be involved in it. And I better focus on work. I won't bother trying to figure out what forced the police's hand. And there's no reason for me to know, and it does not concern me.
パルケ。おはようございます。
おはよ
Good morning.
う。今日も来たんだな。
Sorry for taking up space day after day.
注文してくれるなら俺としても文句はねえよ。
So be customer-like, and I won't complain.
それにちょうどよかった。お客さんが来てる。
Wait, for me?
僕が寝てる時に知り合った人？リノ君にも会ってる？もしそうなら僕は顔を見られない方がいいかな、念のため。
So who is it? Well, I don't know who they are honestly. And my pool of acquaintances is small. And it's only really Kido-san, Ibaraki-san, and maybe Kumato-san. But she doesn't know that I frequent this cafe. So do you know who they are?
ほら、前と同じところに座ってるだろう。
And he points behind him with his thumb. And I look at the table and see someone I was not expecting.
頼みがある。
So, law enforcement. And as soon as I sit down, Aku-san bows his head. Wait, so I don't understand.
急にごめんね。申し訳ない。
So, sorry. That's fine. So anyways, did something happen? I heard rumors about the police showing up at Dream Dive yesterday.
え、そうなの？
So, did something go wrong?
それが
Well,
なんというか
well, I think it's best kept secret for now.
僕らの推察が間違っていたんですか？
恥を忍んで正直に言おう。昨夜俺たちはドリームダイブを捜索した。店内ではソフトドリンクを注文した客にアルコール飲料を飲ませていることも確認できた。
Okay, so we were able to confirm that the customers got liquor while being disguised as soda. So we were correct.
状況としてはな。
Well, what else? So what strings attached? What do you mean?
BMI のシステムの解析に手間取ってるんだよ。
Okay, so that's just preliminary evidence. So until we can analyze BMI,
証拠として調べてはいるんだが、なんせ珍しいシステムだからな。
we can't come to conclusions right away.
その上、こちらの職員はまだまだ勉強中の身。いきなり最新システムを解析しろと言われても、時間がかかるのも当然でね。もちろん外部にも協力を要請してるんだけど、これがなかなか。
So, unfortunately, this is kind of complicated. So, I'm sure it's like, we need some help.
そこでだ。力を貸してほしい。
Which is why we came to you. So, we need your assistance at helping us with this complicated investigation. There you go. So, you want me.
開発に携わっていたなら解析もできるんじゃないのか。
So, since you're the BMI expert, you might be able to help us with this part of the investigation. So, help us decode and study the data from BMI. Well, I probably could. I have the necessary knowledge on top of all the experience I acquired at Ibuki. Okay, I understand your situation, but I am not a law enforcer. But you don't have to be for things like this.
君の話だけで判断しようとしているんじゃない。ただ、なんというか、指針が欲しいんだ。
Guidelines.
BMI でアルコール飲料をソフトドリンクだと思わせていた。それが正しいのなら、このまま解析を待つことができる。だがもし予想が外れていた場合、それに応じた証拠を集める必要がある。
So, we have to wait for it to confirm.
その判断をするための材料が欲しいんだ。
I see. So, they need solid proof that that was the case. So, alcohol being disguised as soda or even water.
君に求めているのは証拠や証言じゃない。警察の捜査ではなく、俺個人に協力をする。そう考えてくれればいい。
Well, I know it's up to them to collect evidence. It's just that, oh, well, we need some expert to help us understand all the data that came in. Well, in that case, I might be able to help. And if there's anything I can do, I want to help. And also,
何？
nothing. I could help Kito-san as well. Okay, I'll cooperate. So I'll help you with this.
そうか、感謝する。
So we appreciate this.
ありがとう。本当に助かるよ。
So therefore, it will allow us to wrap up this investigation sooner. But I have one request. So can she come with me? So, Kito-san.
僕も？
Wait, me? So it would be good for me to have some help. But what about her daily job? So please, can you help? So what about boss?
ああ、そうか、そういうことか。
I see the gears turn in her head until she realizes my intentions. And she straightens her back in a stiff, polite gesture.
ぜひ手伝わせてください。
Okay, so let me help.
わかった。確かに一人では大変だ。君にも協力してもらおう。
でもバイトはいいの？
So, what about your job?
マスターと相談してきます。
Okay, so I'll talk with my boss about scheduling.
ちょっと待っていてください。
So just hold on for a second. So I don't think they get many customers, so the boss is okay with, okay, just do what you need to do and I'll just cut your time short. So after getting permission from her boss, we head to the police station.
ごめんね、二人とも。力を貸してもらうのにわざわざ足を運んでもらって。
So I'm sorry that we are walking there.
でもこっちの方が面倒も少ないんだよ。
本当に勝手を言ってすまないな。
So once again, I'm sorry for all of this. I know I'm inconveniencing you too. Or we are.
気にしないでください。
No. So no one can overlook crime.
助かるよ。
I must say, though, you really work fast. And I thought it would take a little more time for the police to make their move.
ああ、それはなんというか、さすがに詳しいことは言えないんだけど。
Well, I'm sure all that is confidential.
っていうか、私たちにも知らされてるわけじゃないんだけど。
But I'm sure it's like, well, we have some reasonable suspicion that something is going on in that dream dive, which is why we were able to get a warrant from a judge.
BMI はすでに生活の一部だ。そしていつかは必需品となる。今こうしている間にもいろんな活用法が研究開発されている。もし致命的な欠陥があればとても大きな問題になる。
So this is a serious matter.
そんなことになったらいろんな人が困っちゃうって話かな。
So if BMI is found to be dangerous, it'll affect the bottom line of many companies, and I can see the aftermath of such a thing affecting the political and business spectrum heavily. So there must be pressure to resolve this as quickly as possible. And maybe that's why an anti-BMI crime division was created. And I'm one in the same mind, however, so solving this as quickly as possible will be for the best.
どうだ、わかるか?
So anything? And he passes me a memory cube. And this is the only storage medium that's compatible when using BMI. And it's used to store movies, videos, and even games. And its usage extends far beyond memory grafting. So like a hard disk or like a SSD. Virtual. And the same is true in the case there's data that controls the signals to be sent through BMI stored in here. And I can roughly grasp the nature of the system. I didn't build it, so I can't understand how it works completely at a glance. But after a thorough examination, I understand. And it doesn't seem like some kind of new technology that will revolutionize our understanding of BMI after all. And I think it is as we predicted. So what do you think?
そうだね。芸能人の姿に見えるのはアバターの姿に置き換えているから。
Okay.
肝心の酒の方は?
And where's the alcohol?
これを見る限り視覚に干渉するのはアバターの反映だけでしょうね。
So it looks like they only touched one part of the system. But there are other parts that can affect other sensory organs. So it might be one of the main systems, and if you mess that up, then it affects some of the subsystems underneath it. Like taste, smell, and looks.
つまり
見た目はそのままですが、お酒の味は変わるということでしょう。
So it looks the same, but it...
例えば、透明な日本酒を水と称して提供するとか。
Okay, so that's a good example. So you pour in sake, but it's transparent and it won't fizz, and then you use the BMI system to trick the customers into thinking that it's water.
本来の機能の副作用というか、副次的な機能ではない。そう思っていいのか？
意図して組み込まれたもので間違いないと思います。味が変わるお酒も種類を限定しているようですから。
So it only works for certain types of alcohol. And taste and smell replacement functions don't seem to interfere with vision tampering.
それならこのまま待っていても問題はなさそうだな。
これなら視覚の置き換え機能だけを残したバージョンも作れるかも。もちろん手を加えても構わないならですが。
参考資料として作ってみてもらえると助かるな。
Okay, so that makes a good reference material.
待って待って、新しいメモリーを用意しないと。
So we got to have another storage medium.
それはコピーだけど、上書きしちゃうと後で問題になりそうだから。
Okay, so it's ROM, so read-only memory. Just to make sure, would there be any problem if we tried using BMI? And it doesn't seem particularly dangerous.
まあいいか。
Well, thank you. I heave a sigh of relief hearing the light tone of his approval. And I'm honestly worried about them noticing my real intentions with this. Sorry, well, I'm really not trying to abuse your trust here. And I apologize eternally and hand Kido-san the memory cube. Okay, so if you remember, Tsubasa is trying to learn about her past before she got grafted, and Kanato thinks that this cube might have some clues. So she puts it around her neck and lets the data flow in, and instantly she freezes in place. She doesn't seem to be deep in thought, so she's reading what's in there. And it is as if her brain froze and her eyes are staring into space. And if they really use her research, she should be able to regain some memories. And to my absolute surprise, a smile touches her lips, followed by a light chuckle. Wait, Kido-san, so are you okay?
平気だよ。
I'm okay.
なんだ、どうかしたのか？
So what happened?
いえ、見た目は可愛いアイドルなのに、声は低い男性というのが面白くて。
びっくりさせないでくれ。
Hey, so don't scare us.
すみません。ちゃんと真面目に取り組みます。
Sorry. So, not to scare you.
本当に世話になったな。
But anyways, so you helped us.
今回のこと、内部の解析にも役立たせてもらうね。協力に感謝します。
Don't worry. We're happy to help you.
それじゃあ、私たちはここで。
助かったよ。
Well, again, thanks. You're welcome.
失礼します。
So Aku-san and Rokumi-san then leave. So the data was related to you, wasn't it? And that smile didn't seem like a simple amusement from the BMI effect.
見られてたか。
So you noticed.
我ながら間抜けなエピソードを思い出してね。つい笑っちゃったんだ。僕はね、味覚の置き換えについて研究をしてたんだ。
So taste replacement. Oh, so it's like the technology needed to compensate for the senses when you grafted BMI prostheses. Oh, by the way, so what was the silly story about?
当時僕が食べていたのは薄味のいわゆる病人食ばかりで飽き飽きしていた。
Okay,
もっと味のあるものを、味の濃いものを食べたいってストレスを感じていたよ。
I can see that. And it's especially amazing since you actually accomplished your goal.
まあね、もっと褒めてくれてもいいんだよ。
Okay, I'll take the praise. So you had fun eating after that.
あは、うん、楽しかった。
In the
最
beginning,
初だけはね。
at least. What do you mean?
いろんな味を知れば知るほど食への欲求が強くなったんだ。
So it got me addicted.
本物を食べたい。自分の舌で味わってみたい。でも食べたら士気が早まる。
Well,
なんて葛藤からさらなるストレスを抱えるようになっちゃったわけ。
okay, so that was when Tsubasa was still in her sickly body, so I wanted to eat those, but I know that's going to make my health worse.
ま、結局死んじゃったわけなんだけどね。
Wait, so the death jokes really aren't funny, just so you know. So it's kind of sad that in the end, your old body died.
厳しいな。あ、でもまずい薬を飲むときには重宝したかも。
So that seems like a good use for it.
今回のお店もそういう使い方をしてくれればよかったんだけどね。
That's true. Yeah, well, it's a shame. And I expressed my agreement. And then Kino-san skips ahead and stands in front of me. And after turning on her heels, she looks at me.
ありがとう、いぶきくん。君のおかげで記憶を取り戻すことができた。
But anyways, I'm happy that I got some of my memory back. Well, you don't need to thank me, but I'm sure it means a lot for Tsubasa. And it just happened, so. And unfortunately, it wasn't the memory you've been looking for.
確かに僕には取り戻したい記憶がある。
Well, little at a time, so anything helps.
だからといって他の記憶はどうでもいいわけじゃないよ。
So at least this is one memory, and there are more chances to obtain
今回の記憶だって僕の大切な過去だ。
other memories. And she smiles gently at me.
だからありがとう。
And her smile is positively beaming. The bright, warm smile of hers fully conveys those feelings of gratitude. And the moment I see that smile, my chest warms up. And so far, I've done the work I needed to do. And I think this is the first time I face someone's pure-hearted emotions directly like this. And I'm filled with what I think it is a sense of fulfillment. I must say, both Ibaraki-san and Kino-san look so pretty when they smile. That's true. And I want them to smile. I want them to be able to be happy. And my heart is filled with an ironclad resolve.
どうしたんだい？ぼーっとしちゃって。
Yeah, I'm here, so sorry?
人の話ちゃんと聞いてた？
I did, yeah, so I know how you feel now.
ならいいけど。
Good.
さて、店に戻ろうか。もしかしたらマスターが困ってるかもしれない。
Okay, so I gotta go back to my other work. So I think Tsubasa only asked for a few hours off. And maybe around this time there are many customers, so...
というか、怒ってるかも。
And he'll be mad, but it'll be okay. I apologize with you if that is the case. And if there is too much work to do, I can even help.
ありがとう。
So thanks for the offer.
でも正直、あの店がそこまで賑わうイメージはないね。
But then again, it's slow in there, so... Right?
味は抜群なんだけど、なんせマスターがね。
Well, the master is holding back. Is it really because of his face?
それもあるけどね。マスターはまったりやっていきたいんだって。
Maybe?
忙しくなるとどこかで妥協することにもなりかねないからとか。
Well, in that case, let's make up for it by contributing to the sales.
それならマスターも怒らないかな。
Well, I think they need more customers. Well, we'll see when we get there.
そうだね。でもその前に改めて本当にありがとう、伊吹くん。
Yeah, well, there's no doubt in my mind. She looks very pretty when she smiles.
やあ、木戸さん、こんにちは。
星姫さん。
それに伊吹くんだったよね。
Yeah, so hello to you as well.
こんな時間から二人で何してるの？何？デート？
Date?
違います。
No?
そうなの？
Really? No, we're doing nothing of the sort.
なんだ、違うのか。
Oh, how disappointing.
この前もですけど、星姫さんって意外と恋愛脳なんですね。
それはちょっと違うかな。さっきの木戸さん、とても嬉しそうに笑ってた。店では見ないような笑顔に見えたからさ。ああ、でも別に暇つぶしのネタとかからかいたかったわけじゃないんだ。
So let's see what Tsubasa said earlier, or Hashihime.
読み返すの？
Okay, so I'm not just trying to tease you for it for the fun of it, I promise.
いや、本当だって。ただ、ほら、なんというかな。
But it is true, so you're smiling more than when you're working.
木戸さんは若い。しかも可愛い。だからもったいないと思うのさ。そういう青春みたいなことはできるうちにしておくべきだよ。
僕のそういう時期はすでに過ぎてるんですよね。残念ながら。
うわ、ぐさっときた。木戸さんが過ぎてるなら私なんて。
あ、いや、そういう意味ではなくて。
Well, if she is talking to me alone, I can't imagine what she would say.
なんせもう死んじゃってるからね。
So, what he remembers. I can't just hear her in my mind.
橋姫さんはこれから工房に戻るところですか？
そのつもりだったけど、せっかくだ。コーヒーを飲んでから帰ろうかな。
So, I'm here for coffee.
一緒に行ってもいい？
はい、もちろん。
Okay, please do. And back at the cafe, so we sit next to each other at the counter and have tea together. And Hashihime-san's probably enjoying her coffee.
マスターの入れるコーヒーはやっぱりいいな。
And you can't handle the bitterness?
伊吹くんはコーヒーが苦手かい？
Well, I tried it once, but it was too bitter for me.
ちゃんとした豆でちゃんとした人が入れてくれれば苦味以外の味も感じられるんだけど、苦味が全くなくなるわけではないからね。
Well, I figured.
でもいいんじゃない？苦手なら苦手で無理して飲む必要はないよ。人生なんていつ何時何が起こるかわからないんだしさ。
So her tone is bright, but she does not seem to be joking.
急に重かったね。
Oh, well, that's fine. So it just caught me off guard.
でも思うんだ。楽しむことは重要だって。落ち込んだり塞ぎ込んでしまうと、そのままどんどん沈んでいくっていうのかな。私自身も事故に遭った時そうだった。そこから抜け出せたのはみんなのおかげさ。周囲の人の顔に私は救われた気がした。
Okay.
素敵な顔を見せられると自分の胸も高鳴るっていうのかな。
Well, I know what you mean. And I felt something to that watching Kido-san smile.
でも木戸さんは本心を隠してるように見える。だからね、いつかそういう素敵な顔を見せてくれる日が来るといいなって。
Yeah, well, so do I. I want to see that beautiful smile again. And I kept drinking my tea, ruminating on Hashihime-san's words.
パルケ。
Okay, so we are now in the next chapter. So let's see how it goes from here with Aya going, oh, she's humming some song. We're making wreath stands out of evergreen branches and leaves and then tying them together with wire. Well, afterwards, we hide the wreath with green and then decorate on top of that. And we use mostly ribbons and nuts. So, we also use preserved flowers. And it's amazing to see Christmas wreaths come to life as we decorate them. And Kamada-san hums as she keeps pumping out one after another, so making all these wreaths.
こんなもんかな。
Okay, so that'll do. Ooh, so you're really good. And even a guy like me can't tell the wreaths she made are pretty beyond compare.
長年やってりゃこれくらいはね。
There you go. So, I'm experienced. I know how to make these. And I've been wondering about something. So, do you not sell Christmas trees?
持って帰るのも大変だからね。車でホームセンターに行く人が多いんじゃない？
Okay, so it's hard to take those home. So, I know here in the US they have big trucks to help them, or vans, but I don't think that's the case in Japan.
もちろん相談されれば応じるけど。
And they would have to do special delivery.
それに今後はそういう本物も減っていくかもしれない。
And why do you say that?
BMI ってさ、信号を送って AR デバイスとしても利用されてるじゃん。しかも超リアル。
That's true.
だったら本物を飾らなくてもデータで演出すればいいと思わない？
I guess, yeah. So what they were doing at Dream Dive is a good example, and it led to them being raided. So new uses for BMI are being discovered every day. And town decorations and Christmas trees could be made of data. And so it would cut down on the hassle of pulling up real ones, and they wouldn't take space. So you actually have to cut Christmas trees from the forest. Well, you can buy the artificial ones where it's made of wire and fake leaves. It might be convenient, but I think there's something to be said about the satisfaction of putting up your own tree and decorating it.
私も本物が消えてなくなるとまでは思わないよ。でもそういう選択もこれから増えるんじゃないかってこと。実際案内の看板とかお店のメニューとかデータ対応に切り替えるところも増えてる。
So everything is being reliant on BMIs.
いろんな写真を使ったり多言語に対応するならデータの方が都合がいいわけ。
Okay, so it can be convenient if used right. And that said, so the development of such software probably shouldn't be left to the business themselves to make. Well, I think the problem is that it might take forever for them to release the product, and it might be so buggy that you need a patch to make it work. Well, if the Dream Dive incident is anything to go by, it should be outsourced to a third party. And in other words, businesses that specialize in creating BMIs to fit the individual needs of each client, and recurring businesses like that are indispensable for companies such as Ibuki. No, so I need to stop thinking of business opportunities. I'm not even here anymore. Oh, so there. So forget about BMI. I'm not living there. And I'm sure the management is aware of these things already. It's probably easier for people raised normally to come up with ideas like this. Now that you mention it, I see a fair amount of people walking outside with BMI on. And is it because they want to read the information on signboards like you mentioned?
それもあるけど、若い子の場合は自撮りじゃないかな。
So what's a selfie?
自分視点撮影、通称自撮り。
So that's the short definition.
BMI をつけっぱなしにしてれば、目の前で何かあった瞬間を記録できるわけ。
And it can be done easily with BMI.
そういう映像があると、注目を集めたり、話題の中心になれるからね。
That's true. And Aku-san mentioned something to that effect too.
他の人間との違いを出したくて目立とうとするやつも多い。
So selfies are an extension of that, I imagine. And while talking to me, Kanato-san continues working without pause, and she completes Christmas decorations one after another. Oh, so you're making a lot of things, aren't you? And it's not just wreaths. So she also carefully places plants inside glass bottles with oil, and the bottle plants are apparently called, herbariums, and they're used as Christmas decorations.
リースはお店の飾り。ハーバリウムはお土産やプレゼントとして売れるんだよ。この可愛らしいのがナウイ、キャワワな女の子も喜ぶ。
Okay, I went too fast, so let's see what I had to say previously.
ハーバリウムはお土産やプレゼントとして売れるんだよ。この時期。
Okay.
そう考えるおじさんたちには特に。
So do the girls really like them though?
やっぱ送る人次第じゃない？
So if given as a gift, it's special. And it's a tough world out there.
そういえば今年はどうするの？リノちゃん。
So what are you doing this year for Christmas?
何がですか？
What do you mean? So Ibaraki-san pauses her task, turns towards Kanato-san and looks at her with an uninterested expression on her face.
ほら、今年の24日はちょうど定休日。デートとかしないの？
Oh, so Christmas Eve.
する相手がいませんし。
Well, I don't know.
いやでもほら今年は伊吹くんがいるからさ。
So how about with Ibiki-kun?
はあ。いるから。
Oh,
何ですか。
so what about him?
うわ冷たい反応。
Wow, so such a cold response.
一緒に暮らしてるんだよね。
ただのルームシェアですし。
若い男女が一つ屋根の下、何も起きないはずはなく。
So it's boring, right?
起きないんだよな。
Well, that's right. So it's boring.
一応言っとくけど、別にからかいたいわけじゃないよ。
So don't take it too personally.
リノちゃんはいつも真面目に働いてくれてるから。私としては感謝してる。でも、たまには羽を伸ばして休んだら。
That's true.
お気持ちだけはありがたく。私、そういうイベントに興味ないですし、人混みとか苦手ですし。
So I hate crowds.
デートに限った話じゃなくってさ、友人同士とか身内で集まって騒ぐとか。
So just having a good time and hanging out. So it doesn't have to be as special as date.
騒ぐって言っても別にウェイウェイするって意味じゃなく、そうだな。
And doesn't mean parties.
奮発して普段は食べないような豪華な料理をケータリングとか。楽しみ方は人それぞれだと思うんだよね。
それくらいなら、まあ。
今年は伊吹くんもいるんだから、リノちゃんなりの楽しみ方をしてみるのもいいんじゃない？って伊吹くんはクリスマスどうしてるのか無視してるけど。
So, do you have plans? Oh, don't worry. Well, I don't have any plans. So back when I was in that room, my workload did decrease during Christmas, New Year's, Golden Week, and Obon. And only during those occasions. Well, I understand the principle of holidays, of course. And spending time with family, enjoying the company of your partner, and going out and doing other things. However, I had taught holidays didn't concern me back then. But for Christmas...
伊吹くんは興味ある人?
So, are you interested? Quite interested. Yes? Well, I never participated in any Christmas-related celebrations. And I can't help but wonder about them.
なら、私と一緒に行く?
So how about you go somewhere together? You have plans?
大した話じゃない。アットホームなやつ。兄貴のご家庭にお呼ばれしてるんだよね。甥っ子も姪っ子も店長に会いたがってて、連れて行く約束しちゃってさ。二人も一緒に行く?
Okay, so how about you two come in? So come with me to my place. And as much as I appreciate the offer, well, I'm afraid I'll have to decline. Sorry.
同じく。
Same here.
だよね。知らない人だらけのパーティーとか居心地悪いよね。
Well, I understand.
でも気が変わったらいつでも言って。兄貴の家はそういうの本当に気にしないから。とにかくさ、クリスマスを気軽に楽しむ方法があるんじゃないかって話。
Okay. So Christmas only comes once a year. And suddenly, I recall what Hashihime said.
人生なんていつ何時何が起こるかわからないんだしさ。でも思うんだ。楽しむことは重要だって。
So her words strike me as true more than ever, and no one can know where we'll be or all be next Christmas. And thinking of something special to do might not be a bad idea. And what about Rino? So after work, we head back home without taking any detours. So I wonder if Rino ultimately accepted going on a small adventure with Kanato. So not date, but just being friends. And it is true that you shouldn't always be working. So I'm going to stop the episode here, and we'll see how it goes from here and what they'll do to celebrate Christmas. So I'm sure back at Ibuki, when a holiday happens, it's more like the workers, they go to their homes and celebrate their own Christmas, New Year's, and Kanato is left in the dust. So that means there's no work piled onto Kanato. But at the same time, he just stays all by himself, locked up in a room, and seeing only from the confines of his room. So seeing what's going outside the window. And he might be on a really high floor, so he'll probably just see only the blue day sky or the black night sky with stars and clouds. But anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.